Jai Baba.
Understanding has no meaning. Love has meaning. Obedience has more meaning. Holding my daman has the most meaning. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. We are on page 10, second paragraph. Many lovers of Meher Baba and students of his work naturally will want to see for themselves the avatar's own handwriting in the 39-page manuscript. To make this experience available to a wide public, the Avatar Meher Baba Perpetual Public Charitable Trust, under the chairmanship of Bhav Kalchuri, has prepared this facsimile edition for publication. Every effort has been made to reproduce the original manuscript as far as practicable. In page size, color of the pencil graphite, color of the notebook sheets, and other particulars. The original 39 pages, now fragile and yellowing with age, are being housed in the Trust's archive collection. Now we are fortunate to have with us, since this series started, the person who actually photographed those original pages, Homeyar Mystery, and today he has hunted from his archive. Okay, the original print of the what is it called? The Polaroid clip. So we'll be seeing it after we finish this one paragraph. This unique book will elicit diverse responses. Among those readers drawn into its spell, some will be intrigued by the philosophy and metaphysics, others by the sheer visual impact of the Godman's own handwriting, still others by the feeling of his intimate presence that the manuscript conveys. These are all imprints of his humanity that lead us closer to the glimpse of the true humility and sheer loveliness of the human face of God. Of this one, who is the beloved of all mankind, the celebrated Urdu poet Simap, one of Meher Baba's own favorite poets, has written, "मंजिल मिली, मुराद मिली, मुद्दुआ मिला, सब कुछ मुझे मिला, जो तेरा नक्शे पा मिला." A free rendering of these beautiful lines reads, "I reached the destination, won all that my heart longed for, and attained the object of my desire. Verily, I achieved all there was to be achieved when I found your footprint." The editors, now the editor's name is not given over here, it is Merwan B. Jasawala, Ward Parks, Eric Neddle, and Heather Neddle. So now let us go to the photograph. Homya, come. Just explain something about, and then we'll be doing the Hindi reading, because some people last time said that it's better that I read in English and try to explain whatever, and then again reread the whole thing in Hindi, so that if at all it can be understood in a little better way. Homya.
Jai Baba. These are the samples what we were shooting, the actual pages. The method was first to photograph them on Polaroid, then do some corrections, and then after that the actual transparencies which were on a bigger format. So luckily, after the permission, I retained these few of them, and these are few which I could find them. So I would like to share it with you. You can, I'll pass on these and you can see them and then return it back to us.
With all honesty.
And there are some blank pages also over here, photograph. As mentioned, those were the most difficult ones because the focusing was a problem. There was no demarcation to focus on it. So we used to focus it on the edge of the paper. And then again shift it. And
मेहर बाबा को अनेकों प्रेमी और उनके कार्य पर शोध करने वाले शोधार्थी स्वाभाविक रूप से 39 पुष्टियों इस हस्तलिखित पांडुलिपि के रूप में अवतार के स्वयं के हाथ से रचित इस कृति को स्वयं देखना चाहेंगे। हालांकि 39 पुष्टीय मूल पांडुलिपि जिसके पुष्ट समय के साथ झुरझुरे और पीले हो चुके हैं, अब ट्रस्ट के अभिलेखागार संग्रहालय में सुरक्षित रख दी गई है। किंतु व्यापक जन समुदाय को उस पांडुलिपि का निकटतम अनुभव प्रदान करने हेतु अवतार मेहर बाबा परपेचुअल पब्लिक चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट अहमदनगर ने श्री बाऊ कलचुरु के अध्यक्षता में इस पांडुलिपि का इन गॉड्स हैंड नामक पुस्तक के रूप में पहले अंग्रेजी संस्करण प्रकाशित किया और अब उसी का यह अनुवादित हिंदी संस्करण ईश्वर के हाथ से नामक इस पुस्तक के रूप में प्रकाशन हेतु तैयार किया है। निस्संदेह यह अनोखी पुस्तक पाठकों के विविध उद्गारों को उजागर करेगी। उन पाठकों में से जो इसके सम्मोहन जाल में खींच जाएंगे, कुछ तो उसकी विषय वस्तु तथा आत्म तत्व ज्ञान से तथा अन्य कुछ पाठक ईश पुरुष की स्वयं की हस्तलिपि के दर्शनीय प्रभाव मात्र से स्तब्ध रह जाएंगे। बहुत से अन्य पाठकों को यह पुस्तक ईश पुरुष की निकट उपस्थिति का आभास देकर प्रभावित करेगी, क्योंकि इस पुस्तक में उसकी मानवीयता जनित ये सारे प्रभाव ही है जो ईश्वर की सच्ची विनम्रता और ईश्वर के मानवीय चेहरे की निपट सुंदरता की एक झलक के रूप में उजागर होते हैं। उस एकमेव ईश्वर के लिए जो समस्त मानव जाति का प्रियतम है, प्रसिद्ध उर्दू शायर सीमाब, जो मेहर बाबा के स्वयं के प्रिय कवियों में से एक है, लिखते हैं, मंजिल मिली, मुराद मिली, मुद्दुआ मिला, सब कुछ मुझे मिला जो तेरा नक्शे पा मिला। इन सुंदर पंक्तियों का स्वतंत्र अनुवाद इस प्रकार है। मैं उस गंतव्य स्थान पर पहुंच गया, उस सब को जीत लिया जिसकी मेरा हृदय अभिलाषा करता था, और अपनी इच्छा के प्रयोजन को पा लिया। सचमुच जब मैंने तेरे चरण चिन्ह को पा लिया तो वह सब कुछ पा लिया जो भी वहां प्राप्त करने के लिए था। संपादक गण श्रीवास्तव एंड शालिग्राम शर्मा।
Dr. Gokaran Srivastava, as we know, is a Mehrabad Nivasi now, and Shaligram Sharma is the editor of the Divyavani. So they are the ones who had done the translation. Now coming to Simap, as we will just not be reading, but even certain areas of what comes to our recollection, is in one of the programs that Baba was there, I think it was Madhusudan who was singing this ghazal, about Simap, where there are very beautiful lines, and one of the lines is, इंसान के वेश में मुझे अक्सर खुदा मिला, and then and Baba said that Simap was he wrote from the heart, but he was so called from the worldly standpoint very poor and unfortunate, and when this ghazal was being sung, Baba was he went, like, as we say, very pensive, very introvert, and then all of a sudden he asked the ghazal singer to stop the ghazal in between. And then he said that I am so happy with this rendering that wherever Simap is, I have given him mukti. At this moment, जहाँ पर भी सिमाप है उसको मैंने मुक्ति दी. I think it was after the ghazal was over. If I'm not very sure, because there are quite a few versions. But Pratap had said that after the ghazal was over, because he was present in that meeting when this thing happened, and Baba said कि जहाँ पर भी सिमाप है उसको मैंने आज इसी क्षण मोक्ष दे दिया, मुक्ति दे दी करके. So that is the power of the ghazal. That was the power of the ghazal. Sorry. Well. Again, there is again a little two people saying two different, but I would take it more. It was in Guru Prasad. It was in Guru Prasad. But the other version is that it was sung before Baba in Mehrazad or something like that. But anyway, let's not get into. I don't know what is the. But even Pratap said, "Kare, मैं उधर मौजूद था. How can it be? How can it be at some other place?" करके. So he was also there. So, Haji. Simap, I don't know. Anybody? Any clue? Simap was from where? Was it a Pakistani this thing or an Indian? I don't know. I have no idea. He was not alive. No, he was not alive. He was not. Or he may be alive in some in form, in other reincarnated form. I don't know. But Baba's words were to the effect that jahan par bhi wo ab hai, wherever he is now, I have given him the liberation, mukti, moksha. That was it. Now, this book, I don't know whether Marathi book has this photograph, but this is the photograph of Baba during 1926. 1926, which is around the time 1925-26 is around the time when Baba wrote these pages, these 39 pages, right? Now we all know that Baba started observing silence from the 10th of July 1925, and that silence started in the Agrakuti or the Jhopdi, which is there in Mehrabad, Lower Mehrabad. That is where it was started on the 10th of July 1925. And 3 days after that, he started writing what he called the book, which is yet unpublished. Nobody knows the whereabouts. The book, again in the Jhopdi. And that was 13th of July 1925 he started writing. And then thereafter he wrote at various places, including the table house or the table cabin, which is again there in Lower Mehrabad. But the placement of the table cabin was somewhere else. It was a little close to the Dhuni site, where it is near the road site, you know. Now it has been brought inside. And it was also written, a part of the book was also written in what in those times was known as the Khadda. The Khadda is the present day Baba's Samadhi or tomb. It was known as the Khadda. So Baba used to go inside, you know, and he used to write. He would be going into seclusions in that place, and he would be writing the book. And at several other places he must have written. So that is the background of the writing of the book. And as we all know, that from the 1st of January 1927, that was the last writing which he did. After that, he stopped writing, except for putting his signatures or initials or drawing something here and there. Besides that, there was no actual writing. So any letters that came from Baba to anybody would be written by somebody else, dictated by Baba. It could be anybody. It could be Chanji, it could be Adi, it could be anybody. And then Baba would only put his signature or initial. So it is felt that because after writing this work, Baba stopped writing, so that again this will definitely have a lot of power, impact, you know, in humanity in the future. This will be such an important document, having been written in the avatar's own hand. There is another photograph here, which is again 1927. So this is the year in which he stopped writing totally, except for the signatures and initial. Now we come to what is known as the supplement. Now this so-called original English book has got all these 39 pages photographs here, right? Now they are of the exact size, and the color and the graphite colors, that means the pencil color and the paper color and the size exactly tallies with the original that is now there in the archives, right? So this is what Homyar was showing us, that this is what he had photographed. But now we jump, because we are not going to read this now, because when we read the supplement, it has got this in a smaller format, then it has got the same thing typed out in a regular way, and then there is some editing done over there. So we'll be starting with that. Hopefully next turn or this turn, I do not know. Let's see. We'll start the reading now. You have the notes on the supplement also, no? Notes on the supplement. This book's main presentation in the preceding pages consists of the facsimile reproduction of the manuscript in Meher Baba's handwriting, since the force of his authorship can be experienced most immediately when the text is encountered in this form. यानी कि बाबा की ऑथरशिप का जो स्ट्रेंथ है, वो उसको हमको अगर उसको क्या बोलते प्रोड्यूस करना है, उसको बताना है. Of course she'll be reading it in Hindi. This is page 49. We are starting page 49 supplement. There will be readers, however, who would like to study the content of what Meher Baba wrote more closely. So there will be readers who would like to not just read but study the contents in a more closely manner. Means actually try to understand what Baba is trying to say. For them, this supplement the following appendices and other ancillary materials have been provided. For those who are interested in study, in research, in knowing more about what Meher Baba has to say about his philosophy and metaphysical aspects of the creation and life, that for them this is provided. The supplement has been organized in this way. In the upper portion of each page, ऊपर के portion में, the facsimile of Meher Baba's handwriting, which in full scale and full color was replicated earlier. ये जो earlier किया तो was replicated earlier. Appears again. Same thing is appearing again. Though in a reduced format, उनके जो size है वो format reduce कर दिया गया है, and in black and white and not in the original color. This is the original color. In the lower part of each page, a slightly edited version of that same text has been rendered in a standard and easily readable typeface. जैसे हम लोग normal type करते हैं, easily readable typeface. Footnotes beneath this edited text explains amendation. जहाँ जहाँ amendment किया है, जहाँ editing हुआ है, उसका वो explanation दे रहे हैं, and provide other useful information. This juxtaposing of the original with the edited version is meant for readers who, while studying the content of what Baba wrote, would like to be able to refer back to the handwritten original easily. यानी आगे पीछे बार बार करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़े, इसीलिए वही उसका फैक्सिमिली यहाँ पे स्मॉलर फॉर्मेट में, उसका रेगुलर टाइप सेट में और उसका एडिटिंग का डिटेल्स दिया गया है. The editorial practices used in creating this edited text have been these. For ease of reading, the indentation and paragraphing have been normalized. बाबा का जो ओरिजिनल है उसमें इंडेंट जो देते हैं हम लोग, स्पेसिंग वगैरह और पैराग्राफिंग जो करते हैं, वो उसको एक स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्मेट स्टैंडर्डाइज किया गया है. जैसे कि आज की तारीख में कैसे हम लोग करते हैं, कैसे लिखते हैं, उसी ढंग से have been normalized. Misspelling in English and Gujarati. Now यहाँ पे क्या है, बाबा ने जो spellings लिखे हैं, especially in Gujarati, वो he was accustomed to the Parsi Gujarati, which the family used to speak in Pune or Bombay or some other places. But Gujarati, which is the Shuddha Gujarati, grammatical Gujarati, is used only in Gujarat and those places. So they have used that Gujarati in order to again standardize it, so that, because Parsi Gujarati many people may not be able to understand, so they have standardized that spelling, those spellings also. Misspelling in English and Gujarati have silently been corrected. I like the word silently been corrected. यहाँ पे एक asterisk 1 है, वो मैं पहले पढ़ लेता हूँ. Prior to the commencement of his silence in 1925, Baba spoke in the dialect of Gujarati that prevailed in the Zoroastrian communities of Pune, Bombay, and other places, and his spellings of certain words reflect this. However, the dialect used in Gujarat, where most Gujarati speakers reside, represents the written standard followed in Gujarati dictionaries and grammars, and the spellings in this supplement have been normalized accordingly. Okay. Coming back to this, so misspellings in Gujarati, English and Gujarati have silently been corrected, and punctuation, including parentheses, has silently been brought into conformity with current pages. जैसे हमने पहले बताया था, बाबा की जो स्टाइल थी वो बहुत झड़प की थी. It was like he was always on the move. He was always as if he was always running out of time. ऐसे तो so many times the paragraphs, the spellings, the parentheses in the sense जो inverted commas वगैरह जो है, including brackets and bracketing and all that, वो समझो एक लगाया तो पीछे बंद नहीं हुआ, ऐसे बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, तो वो सब स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड की गई है. कैपिटलाइजेशन 2 has been regularized. Capitals जो है उसको regularize किया गया है. With the upper case यानी capitals applied to nouns and noun phrases that refer to states of God as God, and the lower case used for nouns that refer to God within illusion. तो वैसे वो लोग ने differentiation, God as God were capitalized, and God within the illusion, reference to God within illusion, has been in the lower case. Actually, This distinction bracket में between God and illusion is almost impossible to sustain in certain instances, and readers should remember that these conventions of capitalization have been applied by the editors to facilitate comprehension of the text and not by मेहर बाबा himself. तो ये एडिटर के नोट है.
मूल आलेख एवं हिंदी अनुवाद संबंधी विवरण. मेहर बाबा के 39 पृष्ठीय हस्तलिखित पांडुलिपि का यथासंभव मूल रूप में पूर्ण रंगीन प्रतिकृति के रूप में प्रकाशन अंग्रेजी भाषा में इन गॉड्स हैंड शीर्षक से पहले ही हो चुका है. ईश पुरुष के स्वयं के हाथ से तैयार इस अमूल्य निधि का हिंदी भाषी पाठकों को गहराई और अपनेपन से शीघ्र आनंद प्राप्त करने हेतु यह संस्करण मूल एंगल प्रकाशन का हिंदी अनुवाद ईश्वर के हाथ से शीर्षक के रूप में प्रस्तुत कर रहा है. मूल एंगल संस्करण इन गॉड्स हैंड के हिंदी के अनुवादित ईश्वर के हाथ से नामक इस संस्करण में बाएं पृष्ठों पर मेहर बाबा द्वारा हस्तलिखित मूल 39 पृष्ठों का लघुकृत प्रतिकृति प्रस्तुत की गई है. इनके सामने के दाहिने पृष्ठ पर ऊपरी अर्ध भाग में हिंदी अनुवाद दिया गया है, जिसका मूल एंगल पाठ नीचे के अर्ध भाग में दिया गया है, ठीक उसी रूप में जैसे वह अंग्रेजी संस्करण में प्रकाशित हुआ था. आवश्यक टिप्पणियां प्रत्येक दाहिने पृष्ठ के नीचे दी गई है, जो पाठकों को कठिन संदर्भों एवं शब्दों को समझने में सहायता करेगी. इस हिंदी संस्करण में केवल वे ही टिप्पणियां संबंधित पृष्ठों के नीचे दी गई है जो हिंदी पाठकों के लिए उपयोगी है. मूल अंग्रेजी संस्करण में संपादकीय स्पष्टीकरण में मुख्यतः अस्तित्व, खुदा, बंदा, हालत, भास, त्रिभुवन, सकल, दशरथ घर, अनंत, अंत, भुवन, संस्कार, प्रकाश, नजर, लफड़ा और अटकेला आदि शब्दों की व्याख्या टिप्पणी के रूप में की गई है. क्योंकि बाबा ने अपनी पांडुलिपि में इन शब्दों का बार बार प्रयोग किया है और ज्यादातर ये शब्द बाबा ने गुजराती लिपि में लिखे हैं, इसलिए अंग्रेजी संस्करण में इनका स्पष्टीकरण आवश्यक था. अतः संपादकों ने पाद टिप्पणी के रूप में वहां उनकी व्याख्या की, किंतु इस हिंदी संस्करण में इन्हें पाद टिप्पणियों के रूप में नहीं रखा गया है, क्योंकि ये शब्द सामान्य हिंदी बोलचाल में प्रयुक्त होते हैं और हिंदी पाठक इन शब्दों से परिचित है. किंतु इन्हीं शब्दों को शब्दकोश में रखकर उनकी व्याख्या की गई है, ताकि पाठक यह समझ सके कि बाबा ने इन शब्दों को किस संदर्भ में अपनी पांडुलिपि में प्रयुक्त किया. बाबा ने अपनी पांडुलिपि में स्पिरिट शब्द का प्रचुरता से उपयोग किया है और यह शब्द उनके मूल पृष्ठ 8 से 17 और क्रमांक 22, 26, 29 तथा 31 पृष्ठ पर बार बार आया है. सामान्यतः हिंदी पाठक आत्मा और जीवात्मा शब्द से परिचित है और कई उर्दू भाषी प्रदेशों में रूह शब्द भी ज्यादा प्रचलित है. ये तीनों शब्द स्पिरिट शब्द के प्रतीक के रूप में ही ज्यादातर हिंदी भाषी क्षेत्रों में बोले जाते हैं, किंतु बाबा ने अपनी पांडुलिपि में स्पिरिट शब्द को स्वार्थ अनूठे व अभिनव रूप में प्रयुक्त किया है, जो आध्यात्म जगत में एकदम नया विचार प्रतीत होता है. बाबा का आशय चेतना से है जब वे स्पिरिट शब्द का प्रयोग करते हैं. इसे बाबा ने अलग अलग पृष्ठों पर अलग अलग समीकरण द्वारा समझाया है, जिसे पाठकों को बहुत ध्यान से पढ़ना चाहिए, तब ही यह आशय स्पष्ट हो सकेगा। अंग्रेजी संस्करण में उच्च साहित्यिक शैली का प्रयोग संपादकों ने किया है, जिसे हिंदी पाठकों के लिए सरल बनाकर प्रस्तुत किया गया है। कहीं कहीं कुछ अंग्रेजी मुहावरे और शब्दों का उचित भाषा अनुवाद संभव नहीं हो पाया, अतः हिंदी संस्करण में ऐसी जटिलताओं को छोड़ दिया है और शब्द अनुवाद के बजाय भाव अनुवाद को महत्व दिया गया है। समय समय पर मूल पांडुलिपि एवं उसके मूल एंगल प्रकाशन में कुछ ऐसे बिंदु उभर कर आए हैं जिनका स्पष्टीकरण आवश्यक था। इनमें से कुछ प्रश्न तो बाबा की मूल कृति से संबंधित है और कुछ अंग्रेजी, गुजराती एवं हिंदी शब्दों एवं संदर्भों के संबंध में है, जिनका प्रियतम बाबा ने अपनी पांडुलिपि में प्रयोग किया। इस अनुवादित हिंदी संस्करण में भी कुछ स्पष्टीकरण पाद टिप्पणी के रूप में दिए गए हैं। अन्य पाद टिप्पणियां विशेष शब्दों, वाक्यों या वाक्यांशों के अर्थ संबंधी स्पष्टीकरण प्रदान करती है। कुछ स्थानों पर मूल कृति में कुछ संशोधन किए गए, जिन्हें अलग टिप्पणियों द्वारा स्पष्ट किया गया है। इस हिंदी संस्करण में अंग्रेजी भाषा के उस संपादित अंश को मूल अंग्रेजी रूप में ही समाहित किया गया है, जो अंग्रेजी संस्करण में छपा था। ऐसा इसीलिए किया गया है क्योंकि मेहर बाबा की मूल पांडुलिपि प्रमुखतया अंग्रेजी भाषा में ही थी और उन अनेकों पाठक हिंदी अनुवाद पढ़ते वक्त मूल अंग्रेजी विवरण को भी पुनः पुनः पढ़ना चाहेंगे। अंग्रेजी संस्करण में प्रस्तुत संपादित पाठ को तैयार करने में जिन संपादकीय प्रथाओं का प्रयोग किया गया है वह इस प्रकार है। पढ़ने की सुविधा के लिए नया परिच्छेद आरंभ करना और परिच्छेद बनाना सामान्य बना दिया गया है। अशुद्ध अक्षरी या वर्ण विन्यास अंग्रेजी और गुजराती में सहजता से सुधार दिया है और विराम चिन्ह, कोष्टक चिन्ह सहित को सहजता से वर्तमान रीति की समानता पर ला दिया गया है। वाक्यों में अंग्रेजी के बड़े अक्षरों का प्रयोग, कैपिटलाइजेशन भी नियमित कर दिया गया है। बड़े अक्षरों, कैपिटल लेटर्स का प्रयोग संज्ञा और संज्ञा व्याख्या खंडों के लिए जो ईश्वर की अवस्थाओं का उल्लेख ईश्वर रूप में करते हैं किया गया है और छोटे अक्षरों का प्रयोग उन संज्ञाओं के लिए किया गया है जो ईश्वर का माया में उल्लेख करते हैं। वास्तव में ईश्वर और माया के मध्य यह भेद कुछ मामलों में करना लगभग असंभव है और पाठकों को स्मरण रखना चाहिए कि बड़े अक्षरों के प्रयोग की यह प्रथाएं संपादकों द्वारा मूल कृति को आसानी से समझने के लिए प्रयोग में लाई गई है, न कि स्वयं मेहर बाबा द्वारा।
When Baba used to dictate on the board in English a few sentences, and when it was being translated in Telugu and it went on and on and on and on, Baba would look and say, what is happening? I just said two sentences and it is going on. Something similar that reminded me, we read so much little. But then this is not it means that this is not the exact translation of what is there in English, but it complements both of the thing. So now let me have the chance to read the English. That has not come here at all.
Which I will
Let me see if that is there in English when we come to that, because I don't know.
Actually, it's not there.
Haji? Why? See, the point is that let as many people understand in as many different ways as possible. If I had my way, I would ask Ranjana to sit here and talk also Marathi. और वो अपना आंध्रा वाला मूर्ति को बोला कि तेलुगु में मीन्स द आइडिया इज दैट see the point is let us understand it in different ways. Now this is another way of understanding it, because this is too, yeah, it is a little difficult, but that is what it is. If you all feel कि भाई हिंदी पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है तो हम नहीं पढ़ेंगे. Democracy. What is your opinion? Because there are certain areas which are not there in English. Because she has read both the things and made a lot of notings. So, if, like how Sam said, if there's something which is missing here, we can always pick on from here. But I don't know in the first place how did it come here? Because it is supposed to be a translation.
Yes, here they are giving also a little additional information.
Exactly.
On what the Hindi translation.
Right. So what I'll do is now we'll keep this in mind. वो आत्मा का जो
Yeah, it is.
नहीं पर is it there in English के? Okay, so.
Not because of the same thing.
अबे तेरे I don't know. That's what I was said ने कि Baba is dictating 2 sentences and that fellow is going bul. So I just joking, but I don't know what is the.
What Baba is saying is, what they are saying is that Atma and Jivatma, they have not elucidated in this as much as they have done over here, and they want to say Atma, Jivatma, and Ruh. Baba has used one word for these three shabd, spirit. Then he is also talking that Baba has used even spirit to denote Chetana. He wants to say Chetana, but for Chetana, Baba is using the English word shabd, spirit prayog kiya hai. So they are just bringing out the beauty of Baba's literature in Hindi.
See, now what we are doing is a supplement, and I think they have done a very what should I say, very dedicated job of giving the minutest details, because this is no ordinary book, and they don't want to be, fingers pointing at them that you did not mention this, because this is going to go in history. You can say it is such an important record of writings in God's own hand. So they have given, this may or may not interest us. Page size is this, and from this page to this page it is this, and this was lined and this was not lined. It may have no interest to us actually, but this is a kind of an authentic record which will go for posterity. Exactly. It's a very detailed study, and I guess it must be Ward Park's work principally, because he is a professor, he's a doctor, and he does his work very extremely meticulously, very thoroughly, because we've been associated with some aspects of his work, and we know tens of thousands of documents.
Because people will be interested of
on the computer, and the way he manages the whole show, it is really creditable, really remarkable. So I'll just quickly brush through this, and if there's any explanation that is required later on, we'll see. Now, similarly, the editors have from time to time inserted words that clarify grammatical function or otherwise reduce textual ambiguities. If there are any ambiguities or something where we cannot understand, the editors have given the clarification. These editorial insertions appear within square brackets. Bracket दो किस्म के होते हैं, एक वो अपना normal जो हम bracket करते हैं, एक curly bracket होते हैं, square bracket होते हैं. This is so whatever the editors have included in the book, हम लोग जब भी पाठ में पढ़ेंगे, so that is in square brackets. So we'll have to understand, we'll have to remember all this when we actually do the study. This is just a prelude to all that, so that readers can easily distinguish them from Meher Baba's own words. So wherever it is given in square bracket, it is not Meher Baba's own words. Baba's original phrasing has invariably been retained, except in 4 instances where bracket pages 26 and 32, the word order was slightly altered, or on pages 4 and 33, reduplication of a phrase was eliminated. So they are going very meticulously and very minutely. There's an asterisk there, 1, which says page number references here as well as in the footnotes to the supplement, appendices and glossary refer to the page numbers that Baba put on his manuscript and not to the overall book pagination in God's hand, of in God's hand. यानी कि ये जो पूरी किताब के जो बुक के जो रेफरेंसेस है उसको नहीं रिफर करते, बाबा ने जो ओरिजिनल पेज के ऊपर पेज नंबर्स दिए थे उसको रिफर कर रहे हैं. These alterations are explained in footnotes. The editors have incorporated other emendations such as the substitution of unnatural in place of unnature. Page number 1. Planes for planes. Spelling लिखा है PLANES for PLAINS. Page number 25. Nor for no. Page 26. States for state. Page 28. And other small changes. All of these again are noted in the footnotes. Readers will also find in the footnotes relevant information about the meaning or context of particular words or passages. Another important feature of the edited text is that it translates most of the Hindi and Gujarati words into English. A few non-English words have been kept in their original languages, though transliterated in the Roman alphabet. अगर हिंदी के कोई शब्द है, कोई भी एक शब्द देखो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल हिंदी के कोई भी एक शब्द बताइए, आत्मा, तो आत्मा इज अ हिंदी बताइए, वो तो इंग्लिश में भी लिखा सक जाता है ATMA करके या कुछ भी. अगर वॉटेवर हिंदी या गुजराती शब्द जो है उसको ट्रांसलिटरेट रोमन इंग्लिश में किया गया है, Roman alphabet. In these cases, footnotes give the word in the Gujarati script which Baba used and provide an English translation. Readers who would like to study these words further will find them in the glossary.
Where the edited text renders an Indian language word or passage into English translation, however, this fact is indicated through italicization of the translated word or words. In pages 1 to 34 and page 39, where the non-English vocabulary is, for the most part, occasional and incidental, footnotes to these translated words give the original non-English terms both in the Gujarati script and in transliteration. From the bottom half of page 34 through the top page 39, however, Baba essentially switches languages from English to Gujarati. Here, beneath the edited text, which is still in English, Baba's original text, reformulated into standard typographic fonts, appear in the same scripts that he wrote it in. That is, mostly Gujarati with a few English words interspersed. For readers who would like to experience the original language sounds that Baba had in prospect when he wrote these pages, Appendix 1 reproduces the Gujarati text for pages 34 to 39 with interlinear transliterations into the Roman alphabet. The principles of transliteration used throughout this book is explained in the key to pronunciation. In the translation of the Gujarati and Hindi passages into English, the editors have tried to strike a happy compromise between literal meaning and good sense. Complete literalness of translation has been rendered impossible by basic differences between English and the Indic languages and by idiomatic usages that resist translation of any type. Nonetheless, the editors have tried to remain faithful to the sense and spirit of Baba's text, following the literal meaning closely whenever this is possible and departing from the literal rendering only to the degree that the sense of Baba's Gujarati plainly calls for this. As to the manuscript itself, the full color facsimile in the preceding pages brings much of its character before the personal review of readers. Nonetheless, since the original document carries such a unique importance, a few comments may be of interest. The character of the handwriting suggests that Baba wrote quickly, particularly in certain patches, without consistent regard for paragraphing, indentation, or spacing. He does appear, however, to have inserted the page numbers which stand at the top center of every page. Baba wrote with pencil throughout. At 2 points at least, pages 12 and 20, the pencil Baba was writing with appears to have sharpened. to have been sharpened. Over the first 20 pages, the size of Baba's script gradually increases, but from the bottom of page 20 onward, it becomes smaller again and somewhat more regular. The paper that Meher Baba wrote on was of two types, both of them inexpensive. The first lined and the second unlined. The first variety, which Baba used for pages 1 to 34, is approximately 8.7 by 8 by 6.3/4 inches in size, while the second type, used for pages 35 to 39, is slightly smaller, about 8 1/4 by 6 3/4 inches. Though now the pages are loose, possibly they were torn from a tablet or notepad. In most cases, Baba wrote on both sides of a leaf. In the case of 11 pages, however, pages 1, 2, 3, 4, 17, 18, 21, 26, 29, 34 and 39, Baba wrote on one side of the page only. The first three pairs of these pages 1 to 2, 3 and 4 and 17 and 18 have been glued together with small patches of glue on the upper right and left hand corners so that the writing faces out and the blank sides face each other. This effect could not, of course, be replicated in the facsimile, which shows these pages as if Baba wrote on both sides. All 39 pages exhibit evidence of a horizontal fold across the center. In the first leaf of Baba's handwriting, this crease mark is strong and enclosed in a stain mark that may have been produced by a strip of tape.
Let us also refer to the pages so that we get a feel of it, Now when the editors say that the first few pairs of pages, the 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 17 and 18, they were glued together in a manner that the written sides face outwards and the blank side faces inwards. So as if it seemed, now for example, you can see this, I don't know whether you can, the third page, there is this tape mark over there. Okay, no, it doesn't matter. There is this tape mark over there, and this page, third page and fourth page were actually glued together. Is that right, Omiyara? That is how it was. You don't remember, huh? And with just drops of glued on the corners so that it looks as if it is written on a back-to-back way. But actually they were glued together, two different pages. And this is what we wanted to show. Okay, this tape, the tape mark, yeah, the tape mark is there. Tape ka mark dikha jata hai na, aise karke, huh? That is there. And in all the pages, he had marked on the top the page numbers. And wherever references are there for the page numbers, this will be this page number that we are referring to. And that, as we said earlier, there are quite a few scratchings and things like that. And originally it was a very big handwriting for a certain number of pages, then it went smaller, and then again it became regular. So all these minutest observations are noted down over here. So maybe after a few hundred years, all the so-called researchers will research whatever that means.
The last page, page 39, has been completely torn in two along the crease line, which, like page 1, is partially enclosed in a stain mark.
Can you see this entirely torn? So, and he had the habit of folding it in this in a horizontal position. Everything was folded,
Possibly, the entire manuscript was at one time folded with page 39 on the outside and kept in a file or some other container.
So because the 39 was protecting and covering all the other 38 pages, it must have gone torn because that was the outside page. This is just a guessing of the editors.
The 39 pages were enclosed within two cover sheets, 8.5 by 11 inches, coated and somewhat glossy, with a grid pattern of light grey lines against a black background. The two separated pieces of page 39 were pasted onto one of those cover sheets. Onto the front cover sheet, which precedes the first page of Baba's handwriting, has been pasted a 3 3/4 by 6 3/8 inch rectangle of paper, which bears the handwritten inscription, Explanations of Spirituality in Baba's own hand, probably written in 1925. The handwriting has been identified as that of Ramju Abdullah, one of Meher Baba's intimate mandali from the early 1920s. Possibly, it was Ramju who, to prevent its further decay, removed the manuscript from a file, unfolded it, and placed it flat between these two cover sheets, pasting page 39 onto the cover sheet backing. These are pure speculations, however. We have no sure information of any type relating to this manuscript apart from what can be gathered from the manuscript itself. The manuscript records various other material written in hands other than Baba's. Most notable is the overleaf side of Baba's page 26.
The Baba's page, whenever they make a reference to page, it is Baba's page. Baba's page number 26, where the word, instead of realize, somebody has cancelled the word realize and written it in sees, S-E-E-S, sees. When we come to that, we'll see into that. This overleaf marked on top with the page number 35 is an almost verbatim copy of the Gujarati text of Baba's own page number 35. So there must be two 35. Let us see now. Right, we can see that there is a 34 page and then there is a blank page which has Omiyar, as he has said, it was very difficult to take the photograph of this page because of focusing. There was no context to focus the camera. Is an almost verbatim copy. Okay. Baba's own, though it has been written in a handwriting not Baba's, that has not yet been identified. Now this, something has been done over here, as you can see this page, something has been done over here, Nietzsche, which is not Baba's handwriting as we know, and which they have still not been able to identify as to whose handwriting it was. Though this overleaf copy of page 35 appeared in the main full color facsimile earlier in this book, since it does not comprise a part of Baba's own handwritten text, it has not been reproduced in this supplement, either in the facsimile or in the edited text version. Interested readers, however, can find more information about it in Appendix 2. Another significant marking is the word lit, L-I-T. Now that you will find, I think, in the very start. That also is not in Meher Baba's handwriting. The first one, L-I-T, the very first beginning. So that is another one. Another significant marking is the word L-I-T written in blue pencil in the upper right hand corner of page 1. This appears to be an abbreviation for literature, which was one of the main categories in the filing system of Adi K. Irani, Baba's secretary, from the early 1940s onwards. So maybe where to file. So it must have been, perhaps, again this is just a guessing. The hand that wrote this abbreviation LIT has not been identified, though the same abbreviation in what may be the same hand appears on other documents in the Trust's archival collection. So they have not been able to identify who has written this. Other miscellaneous marks and annotations include the small checks written in blue pen that appear towards the bottom of every page in the manuscript, with the exception of the front cover and page 9 and 34 and 39. So 34 to 39. These small markings that you can see over there, they are not able to make out as to what is the significance of those. Again, we have no external information about the source of these marks. Nonetheless, most of the text of this manuscript has been reproduced verbatim or in paraphrase in the manuscript on infinite intelligence mentioned in the introduction. When we read the introduction, we found that most of what is written in these 39 pages are already written in somebody else's handwriting in the other treasure that they found, what was known as what was called the infinite intelligence. So almost verbatim, they said, or in paraphrase, in the manuscript of infinite intelligence mentioned in the introduction. It is possible that the transcriber or compiler of this other manuscript put check marks on Baba's handwritten pages in the course of this copying work. So again, this is a guesswork where they are saying that when whosoever has done the transcribing or the copying from here to the other document which later on became the infinite intelligence, perhaps he has made a tick that I have copied this infinite intelligence. Three other marginal or interlinear annotations on page 10, 19 and 33 appear to have been written in hands other than Baba's. So let us see page 10. For example, see 19, and then the false is cancelled and somebody has written on the top real. In the bracket, the false is cancelled. Page number 19. So the handwriting of that... I know, that's what I'm saying. The page 19, as well as cancellation of false and written, and somebody has written real, that they have not been able to identify on page 19. And then we jump to page 33. In page 33 also there is on the third line a question mark and 5. That also they could not. Third line, question mark and 5 in bracket. So once again, 3 other marginal or interlinear annotations on pages 10, 19 and 33 appear to have been written in hands other than Baba's. These cases are discussed in the footnotes. So when we come to those pages and we see the footnotes, at that time we will do. Now exactly 7:30.
Thank you, Baba.
And Baba's grace, we have been able to finish the introduction and the supplement. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.